Ume. This week is the Nigerian Bar Association Week. Enugu State chapter, all right. Enugu State chapter of the NBA gets to celebrate or commemorate their association's every first week of December every year. And I have a representative this morning who is willing to have a very, very lengthy discussion with us this morning about the questions that you and I have been itching to ask. So before we get meeting my guest this morning, I would like to reel you out the headlines just quickly so that you will be updated. It will be weird to leave you hanging this morning. So real quickly, I want to just, let's pick up a few stories so you know what's going on. And of course, in the course of our conversation, a few topics might come up as well, because there will be references and referrals, because we like to be accurate here. So we will be doing all of this. The phone lines are open for you to call in, talk to my guests, and also comment on any of the issues, how we do it here, that probably you're trying to make sense of in the country this morning. So let's quickly start with the Daily Post. Minimum wage. Labor grounds activities in 4 states. Okay, so let's move forward. Tax reform bills. Economists and Muda offer tips and uh, how to control the situation. All right, I'm trying to simplify that for you. Okay, moving forward. Tax reform bills. You had same plans. Tinubu's aide replies Kwankwaso. There's so much coming up from the north about these tax reform bills. Uh, Governor Zulum has made a threat and has told the federal government that if they go ahead to implement these tax reform bills, that there will be consequences. I don't know if we're now throwing threats around, but it's a long time ago that we saw northern governors become this uncomfortable because of a policy that the federal government will take. This whole time, they have been okay with the activities and decisions of this administration, except when it came to this money talks. And every hand is on deck to make sure that this tax reform bill doesn't see the light of day. Still on the tax reform bill, okay, Honorable Gali says it is anti-people and it will be rejected. Also on the tax reform bill, it says it's in conflict with Nigeria's constitution. This is coming from Buhari's ex-minister, Pantami. All right, Tinubu's tax reform bills is good package for all Nigerians, says Ahmed Gumi. Okay, so still on the tax reform bills, Peter Obi advises Tinubu on way to move government forward. All right, let's look at someone else before we move on, okay, to other things this morning. State government split tax reform bills. Okay, so people are in serious contention of this bill. Obi of Onitsha to politicians: stop milking Nigeria like a cow. It will dry up soon. Moving on, transporters have warned Nigerians to expect skyrocketing food prices in December. Okay, so we have that happening. This is a pro tip. If you can begin to bulk up on the food items and commodities and home products, please do that now before it gets to that point where these transporters are warning us about. Already in November, to go from Lagos to Enugu cost 54,000 naira. We don't know what that price will become later on this month. I'm talking about in a week or two. Things will turn around in ways we do not know. So everyone be on the lookout. Okay, moving on. Lekki Port, Freeport Terminal, Lagos Free Zone are launching a shipping alliance. We hope this works out for Nigerians. Nigeria's Eurobond raises insurance to $9 billion in investor interest. All right, that's as much as we can take on the headlines this morning. Of course, you can react to them as you see fit. Please keep your comments clean, simple, and civil. All right, let's talk about the NBA this morning. I'm sure as an average Nigerian, you do have questions on the judiciary in Nigeria and what it is that their job description has become in recent times. Also, you must understand that the judiciary plays an important role in shaping our governance and any governance in any democracy. And I'm quite sure that the institution of the Bar Association in Nigeria, they do have their own challenges, but Nigerians have their complaints, and for good reason. Now, this week, Enugu State chapter of the Nigerian Bar Association is having its commemoration week. And of course, they have set aside issues that they would like to talk about. But then I was able to snag one of them down here to talk about the things that I think you and I want to talk about this morning. And that topic is the role of the judiciary in enthroning and aiding bad governance in Nigeria. With me to have this conversation this morning is the chairman, Contact and Mobilization Subcommittee, NBA Enugu chapter, okay, Onyekachi Ede. You are welcome, sir. You're welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
All right. How are you feeling this morning?
I'm good.
Do you like our studio?
Sure.
All right. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so tell us a little about the MBA week. Let's hear from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, and it's a yearly ritual of every MBA branch.
Okay.
Enugu branch is not an exception.
Okay.
This is a week-long program that kick-started with a Thanksgiving service.
Okay.
And on Sunday, we did a workout.
Mm-hmm. I saw.
To let the people know.
Okay.
That we are here again.
Okay.
And after that, we had a very educative health talk.
Okay.
And then we also tax matters, because
tax matters.
Taxes. That is on the front burner in the country now.
Tax is a trigger conversation for people in Enugu.
Yes.
But I will get to that. We will get to that. Okay, thank you, Mr. Onyekachi. How do I call you? What do I call you?
Mr. Onyekachi.
Mr. Onyekachi.
Today, today actually is the official opening ceremony for the Law Week.
Okay.
Yes.
I realize that you do not like to address yourself as barrister. Is there a reason why?
I don't.
You don't?
It's a mister.
It's a mister.
Yes.
Yeah, because I like to ask people how they feel in being addressed, minus being politically correct. You know, I know people have preferences.
Barrister is not a qualification.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, this morning is about to be interesting. I am talking to the chairman, Contact and Mobilization Subcommittee, MBA Enugu chapter, Mr. Onyekachi Ede, a very pleasant gentleman this morning. You can join us live on YouTube on High Voltage. Please like, subscribe, and share. And you can call into the studio 0706 048 5853. You can also call 0915 570 347. Mr. Onyekachi, I want you to be honest with me. Do you like how we're doing as a nation generally?
Well, any sincere Nigerian cannot claim to like what is happening.
I like that. I like it. I like it.
In fact, we've never had it so bad.
Oh my goodness.
It's very scorching, very excruciating,
Oh dear.
very painful. You can go on.
Okay, so you are part of a very important arm of government in this country, and that's the judiciary. I want to find out from you, do you think that the judiciary played a part in where we are as a nation right now at the moment? Do you think the judiciary is involved in our journey here?
First, I need to correct an impression.
Do correct it.
The lawyer is not necessarily
Okay.
a part of the judiciary.
Do tell.
The lawyer is part of the citizenry, except the lawyer who works in the judiciary.
Okay.
The lawyer is the advocate for the people.
Really?
However, going straight to your question, yes, the judiciary played a major role in where we are today by the judgments they delivered.
By the judgments they delivered over time or in recent times?
Well, it has just got worse.
It has just got worse.
Where a judge sitting in Kaduna will assume jurisdiction over a matter that happened in Enugu.
How did we get here? How did that happen? How did such an influence overcome the judiciary? Because we are, from what we know, this is almost the most respected arm of government because it keeps everyone else in check in terms of her ability to uphold a certain standard. What happened to tweak that enough that we're noticing this level of disconnect between the actual role of the judiciary and what we have happening right now?
Well, what we know of the judiciary before now, and we hope we will still get back to what it used to be, is that it's the last hope of the common man. That is to say that if your right is breached, you can approach the court for a remedy. Like they say, where there's a right, there is a remedy. But we're almost not seeing the remedy this time around. The reason is simple. The judiciary has been politicized.
Politicized?
Yes.
Because we have seen a very recent romance that is very outspoken from the executive and the judiciary. We have seen relationships. We heard about allowances and increments given to the people at the top, at the judiciary. In fact, at the beginning of the year, we had over 300% of increase in salaries and arrears and allowances. And we are also aware that some judges in Nigeria have been built very classy apartments in Abuja. Now, we're told that these are entitlements that these judges are supposed to have. And then we've also seen these judges partying with some of the very important people in the country. So some of us are also wondering if outside the benefits that they are entitled to by their position so that they can give good judgment, we're beginning to wonder if the other socialization between the executive and the judiciary is also a reason why we are not getting said judgment that we are expected to receive from the judiciary. At least we saw the Chief Justice at a party with with the present governor of Lagos State just last month. We saw her there. We've also seen other members of the judiciary at very high noted events with people in the executive. So I'm of the opinion that there could be a connection between this relationship that these two agencies have. Do you think so?
Yes, it's actually a degeneration of the ethics that we know.
Okay.
The judge is seen from afar. You don't come close to a judge, not because he's a spirit, but because a judge gives judgment, and that judgment is supposed to meet the ends of justice.
Okay.
And what it means is that the judgment that the judge will give will be one that is without compromise.
Okay.
Whether real or imaginary.
Okay.
Because the judge must not just do justice. The judge must be seen to have done justice.
Okay. Okay.
The reason is that if a judge gives a sound judgment, but before giving that sound judgment, he's seen in company. He has been seen in company of the person in favor of whom he gave that judgment. Yes, he has done justice.
Okay.
But he's not seen to have done justice. So the cardinal point is that you must have been seen to have done justice, not just that you have done justice.
All right, thank you, Mr. Onyekachi. I also wanted you to comment on the tax reform bill. Okay, you're a professional, so we have been seeing this tax reform bill. In fact, from as at yesterday, every mobile transaction that is above 10,000 naira has a 50%, 50 naira cut taken from it. But that we understand. They've already warned us, beforehand that was going to happen, so we know about that. But most Nigerians don't understand the tax reform bill and why, especially the North, is very, very much against it. Can you give us a professional perspective to why it's a problem and why a lot of Nigerians are fighting it?
Well, the tax reform bill, of course, reform is something that is natural. But the problem we have in this country is that the people are not taken into account in terms of sensitization and education. The executive sit down or wakes up one morning and read out one reform or the other. The way to go is that this is what we intend to do. There should be a public hearing. There should be, you call for memoranda, what are your thoughts on it? And when that happens, when the discussion is on, people will be weighing the merits and demerits. Of course, I can understand why they not cry more.
Okay. Why
They
is
have
that?
always had a free meal.
I see.
Now, they are being asked to pay for the meal.
Okay.
Because this one is not a reform that they can be excluded. They cannot be singled out because it is the same transaction. It's not like going to market to make a purchase. If it were like that, maybe they find a way of excluding them.
Okay.
So they are crying more, not because it's affecting them more than others.
Okay.
But the effect is more on them because for the first time, they will have to pay what others are paying.
They will have to pay what others are paying. Okay, so do you think that their outcry will affect the implementation of this particular reform?
Well, Nigeria is such a funny place that you can hardly predict, except you are predicting on the negative, because most times the negative happen.
Okay.
The outcry may not. If I say will not, it means I've not been around. I know how Nigeria work, because just one person's interest will make the executive to withdraw a benefit that should have accrued to the entire people.
Why is that?
Well, because we play politics with our lives. That's just that.
From your knowledge of the law, does it mean that nobody can actually address the executive, especially when they are not... we have seen that impeachments don't work here. At least to the best of our political knowledge, it's not necessarily a thing to impeach people here, except the political class want them impeached. But we're just asking, is there a way that Nigerians can demand accountability from the people in government?
Yes.
Especially, since the courts are a little difficult to access.
Well, the courts are not difficult to access, but that the people have lost confidence.
Yeah, because of influence from the top.
Yes. So the way to go about it is just what we are doing.
Okay.
Advocacy.
That's
We
all.
must talk
That's
about
all we
it.
will get.
We can't pick our guns and say you must do this
Okay.
or you must do that. But unfortunately, what has happened from the time of Buhari, sorry to say that, is that when the people rise up, they also pay another group to rise up against the people that rose up. That's what is happening.
So it seems the problems in Nigeria are insurmountable. It means like we're just running around the same circle. Is there a place where we get
I
to?
wish we were running around the circle.
Oh, we're not.
We're in a fast lane moving backwards.
All right, this is very circling and very disturbing because it sounds a little hopeless, but the idea is to put hope, and a little bit of faith back into the people. So I want to ask if you think that our electoral department in this country needs a reform. Do you think that we need electoral reforms?
Yes, there is need for electoral reform.
There is need for that.
And one of the reforms must be, if there is sincerity in the reform,
Okay.
that every result must be transmitted from the polling unit.
Oh dear.
That way, the people can come back and see what will happen. Unless and until that is done, you will see empty booths, even though you will hear results announced.
Yeah, it has been our case for a while now. So I'm wondering how we can change that state of affairs. But the politics that is being played in our face every day is discouraging. But I also have other reform questions to ask you before I come to tax in Enugu State as it is. Okay, just very briefly, we will touch that. But do you think that the judiciary is also due for reforms? And if so, how do we go about it?
Reform in the judiciary is just for us to go back to the roots. Not necessarily laws or rules. They are there. But let us now go back and pick up the ethics. It's most important.
What can trigger that? What will happen to make people go back?
Let the judges detach themselves from the politicians.
What will happen if they do that?
To go and visit a governor.
They have no reason.
They have no reason to visit a governor. For what?
Okay.
I know a judge who refused to let in a military administrator to come and see him. He said, "You have no business with me." That's how it used to be.
Okay.
When we were in high school, we were told that the worst form of democracy is better than the best form of military rule. That statement has been proven wrong in Nigeria.
Can you explain how it's been proven wrong?
Almost every infrastructure in Nigeria was put in by the military.
Oh, okay. I see where you're coming from.
Now, the respect for human rights was better during the military.
I see.
The people have lost their voice. Was it not during the military that there was Nadeko? Can any of such group spring up now? And those who are part of it, if they're in this country, will still have their heads on their neck. That's doubtful.
So it seems we have come a long way from a functioning system. So how do we go back? Because I'm looking for solutions at this point. Because every angle seems locked at the top. So what is the solution?
I say so because it's not just about the government. Yes, the government are the policymakers. That's why every buck stops at their table. But even when you go to the market, people cut corners.
Okay, that is very accurate.
People who are not in government are praying to get into government to have a piece of the cake.
Wow.
Not for any form of development or for the good of the people. And if you come in and you start making moves that seem or you actually become for the good of the people, they will come to you and say, this is not the way it happens.
Wow.
That you need to do what others are doing. That is why if I get an appointment, my people will roll out the drums because their time has come.
What does that even mean? What does that even mean? They roll out the drums because their time has come.
Yes.
Yeah, because you hear people say things like it's our turn.
Yes.
This time around. Good morning to you.
Yes, good morning.
Greetings.
Yeah, I greet your guest. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Justice from Mama.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome, dear.
You know Raymond Dopesi.
Mm.
There was a story he was telling. There were a group of journalists that came to for his birthday, and they were telling a story how they slept in the bush during the military. They slept in the bush for complete 14 days. They were in the bush sleeping because of what? They were mapped out for killing them. They said there were 7 of them. They covered the program, and in the course of covering that program,
Yes.
the authorities asked them to make sure they eliminate them, and they had to sleep in the bush for 14 days. That was the worst sacrifice he ever did for journalism.
The worst sacrifice, you say?
The worst sacrifice, should I say, the best sacrifice.
The best sacrifice.
For judiciary. So, do you know what I now think? Just like you, I agree totally with your guest.
Okay.
During the military, we know there used to be what is it called? Rioting then. We have rioting in the north. There were rioting during the military, and they were able to calm everything down. And we don't see this incessant killing then. Just like your guest said, people like Ganifa, they were opposing government then. People like Femi Falana, people like Fela Kuti, those people were opposing government. And BFS, and then they went to prison all because of, and they do come out. But now, what happened? Our journalists have been, I don't know whether they have been caged or what. That there is a case I always tell you of Dan Daiko what from Kaduna State that was opposing Erufai then, who got missing up to now. He has not been found.
There are too many of them. So sometimes also when journalists are questioned, we have our own side of the story too.
Yeah, there's this guy that was with AIT. You know how he smuggled himself out of this country.
Didn't you hear about Fisayo Soyombo that was taking over Port Harcourt refinery? It's an everyday thing here.
We know how this guy that is in here making revelation now, this guy that
Kunde, David.
All these people. See, we need people who can be very brave. And make sure that you push people into action. These things are becoming too bad. See, I have to make transactions yesterday and they were deducting money.
It is true.
After taking charges from you.
That's right.
At the end of the week, they take charges from you. At the end of the month, they take charges from you. And also, when you make a transfer, they still collect money and at the same time take their charges. This thing is very, 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 it's becoming too bad that nobody can do anything about it. Government came up with policies. They wake up in the morning, whether they sleep on the wrong side of the bed or the right side, they wake up and they give they dish out policy, and nothing happened. Nobody opposed them. Now you're talking of the judiciary, reforms in the judiciary. Why should we have technicalities over an issue? Because I did not file my case on time, the case will be struck out, and that's the dead of that case. All these things are wrong. how I wish they will remove such rules, certain rules that have been there, that someone does not file a case before the deadline, and that means that person has no case to answer. You brought up a case. I brought up a case of a bully for my child on this thing, and because of the way the magistrate said that police treat them, and those cases were just did like this, and at the end of the magistrates uphold the no case submission, which there were testifiers against that case.
Has it become that bad?
It. And he went ahead and uphold it because he have grudges against the police. This is becoming so bad that we need people who are brave, who can talk truth to power, whether be it dead or alive, and make sure that all these things stop. It's quite unfortunate. I rest my case here. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Quite unfortunate. Anything to say about that, Mr. Okechukwu? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, sorry. Wait just 1 minute before you take that. I think you have someone else so that you can be able to probably combine the responses. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, maybe.
You're welcome.
Okay. I greet your guest in the house.
Good morning.
Okay, my name is Amos Chukwu. I'm speaking you from Izagu. Izagu is located in Ishelu local government area of the state.
You're welcome.
Okay. In fact, I really thank God that on what your guests have said so far, he had made some valid points there as a lawyer.
Okay.
Yes, as somebody that is in the profession. And I concur with him for the fact that he said that, in fact, the judiciary in Nigeria, they are not doing enough as expected by Nigerians. Okay. Having said that, okay, this morning it was in the news that somebody that was in the government. Built 753 housing units.
Do you have to? Why do you say somebody in the government? That is Emefiele. Emefiele is in the news this morning for having 700 plus 700 plus duplexes.
And EFCC is, praising themselves that they have made a shocking revolution since the inauguration as an agency.
He forfeited the houses to them. Yes.
Okay. I must say that it's selective.
Okay.
It's selective. What has happened to our former presidents, our West governors? Some of them have been indicted already, and they're still walking free on the streets without being imprisoned. Okay. Now, having said that, in Nigeria, the more you look, the less you see. In a multi-dimensional poverty like Nigeria, and you can see somebody, embezzling funds, so they say that if you can build a 753 housing units, and so many people are languishing in abject poverty, and our judiciary, they are not talking. Those in the National Assembly, they are not talking. You see, as those in government, they are working in cahoots, in trying the resources of this country. I don't know the kind of concept that we are in. I don't know the kind of democracy that we are running. And if you go outside the country, you see the children of those people in government enjoying their life, and we say that Nigeria is not good, or that Nigeria is poor, and see their children enjoying, living extravagantly outside the country, and they're looting the treasuries of this country, investing them outside this country, at the detriment of Nigerians. So it's very unfortunate. I don't know, and it seems as if the process of Nigeria is unending. It's insurmountable, because for every now and then you hear one thing or the other. And let me tell you that this revolution by EFCC is just a microcosm of what is going on, the level of corruption that we have in Nigeria. So it baffles me It baffles me. And it's a high time that those in government, they should do something, because a time is coming when people will be exhausted with all these problems. And they say that we no longer hold. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Amos Chukwu. Thank you so much for sharing. You're very passionate. That was literally coming from the heart. Let's see if we can grab a couple more calls. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Greetings to you.
Yeah, this barrister coming from Enugu, Barrister Emeka.
Oh, you're welcome, barrister.
It's very unfortunate that we'll find ourselves in this kind of scam. It shows that the foundation upon which our nation is standing has a faulty structure. And when you suggest to those in authority to address those faulty structures, they will come after you. They will malign you. They will talk rubbish. By the time they leave the office, you see them becoming crusader of restructuring and addressing those problems. Like the guests talk about human rights. Those in authority now, human rights doesn't make sense to them. But the moment they leave office and there's an issue that involves them, you see them trying to invoke that right, which at the time they were in office, they never accepted to accord other citizens of such rights. Now, the issue of judiciary, I believe that it should be a continuous process. There should be a continuous reform, both the processes and even the ethics, so that it can be strengthened. But what we are witnessing today is state capture. The executive has done everything within their power to withdraw the strength and power of judiciary. And they did it so that they can always get away with all what they are doing. Like the last caller said, is it not crazy that somebody will have access to public fund and use it to build over such a number of structures? There are some, that one is little to compare with what other people like those people did. But the question here is that I hope it will not be a selective justice. The net of EFCC should get across other public office holders, both present and the past ones, because it is very understandable. This government fund is not like fund generated from kiosk or from a woman selling a akara by the roadside. It goes through a process and leads through a process. But today, if a civil servant is asked to sign a document, if she or he refuses to do that, they will transfer him or her to a very remote place where he or her will be regretting not to have done what he was asked to do. There should be a law that protects civil servants, because all these things are done by bureaucrats. There's no law protecting them. Let it be that once you get to the level of director and deputy director, nobody should transfer you from that office. So that even if you insist that you not do that, they cannot transfer you. But if you insist in doing the right thing, they will transfer you and you come back home regretting not doing that. People will tell you that you're a stupid person. You don't know what to do. So let's build a strong institution. But how can we build a strong institution? Not by public, not by citizens. It is by those in authority. They don't have that culture. They are doing like Yahoo boys, like what our elbows are doing. When they collect money from the white people, they come and eat it. Our government officials here, if they steal our money, they go to overseas and enjoy it. That's what they're doing. Because they know if they put a good reform, it will not be an easy for them to access public funds. So they wouldn't do that. It will affect them. So it's very unfortunate. We are finding ourselves in a situation that is only God can save us from this situation. Because I'm not seeing it's not getting better. It's not getting better. Look at civil servants. I cry for them.
It's okay. Thank you so much.
70,000 naira minimum wage. What can 70,000 naira do for a family of three?
It would have been nice if it has been implemented. I mean, you don't understand. It's heartbreaking. If they had seen the 70,000 naira, this conversation would have taken a different turn altogether. Yes.
Look at the fellow couldn't pay that money. But look at how much he left, how much even he paid in advance for his children. But civil servants who are coming every day doing this work, they are left to die with hunger and diseases.
Thank you, Barrister. Let's see if we can grab one more call before I let Mr. Onyekachi give us his opinion on this. Thank you so much. We just want one more call. One more call. If you're lucky, you'll just be our last caller this morning. Welcome.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Please, can you try to hurry it up 1 minute, please?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
So this is Chigo's call from Enugu.
Welcome, Chigo.
Yeah, just a quick one. First one, I would have loved to know why the guest doesn't want to attach barrister to his name. This is something that people work for, fight for.
I actually asked him in the beginning of the program. Do you want to answer that, sir? Just for him.
Maybe let me just round up so that he can now. Then,
Go ahead.
Secondly, I want him to also shed light on why some cases, especially civil cases and even criminal cases, take a whole lot of time in court. We had one civil case. We spent almost 3 years. In fact, after that 3 years, the magistrate handling the court retired, and the court case was assigned to another magistrate, and they had to start afresh again. And again, why are the law courts still, doing analog? When you're presenting your witness or whatever, they're still writing it. They don't have whatever they can use to record it. Or I know it's better. This is not how they do maybe in other parts of the world. And then on a lighter note, the 700 duplexes or so talking about. I was trying to explain to somebody what 700 duplex looks like. I was driving from Monkey Roundabout.
Okay.
I was now telling the person that from this Monkey Roundabout down to Express, the 2 estates on both sides of the road are not even up to 700 houses.
That is true.
You begin to wonder how wicked we are as a people. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, Chigozie, and good morning to you too as well. Thank you, everyone who's called in. Over to you, Mr. Onyekachi.
Well, let me start with the issue of barrister. I am a legal practitioner.
Legal practitioner.
But if you must use barrister, then you must use the complete word, barrister at law.
Oh my goodness, we have to say all that.
Barrister at law.
Barrister at law.
Yes, that's what it is. Not just barrister.
Okay.
Barrister, the barrister. No, I don't do it.
A lot of people would fight you if you don't add the barrister. Okay. That works for me. I'm really cool with it. All right. So, any of the other questions that they asked you that you need to touch, because we have barely
there
7
was an
minutes.
impression I wanted to correct.
Please.
I think the third to the last caller.
Okay.
Who talked about that he brought a case and he said the time has passed. Of course, there is time for everything.
Okay.
And so, if the time prescribed for you to do a thing has expired,
okay,
you no longer have the right to do that.
So that is due process. What happened?
Okay.
That's
what it is.
Okay.
So, if they say that a person is declared dead after 7 years of not seeing or hearing from him,
okay,
and so if it remains 1 month to 7 years, you can't declare the person dead.
Oh, really?
Yes, 7 years before the person can be
declared
dead, assumed dead.
Okay.
If you have not seen, if he is not seen by those who are supposed to see him,
yes,
or have not been heard from those who are supposed to hear from him, then he's presumed dead.
After 7 years.
After 7 years.
Okay, but
not
it must.
before then.
Okay.
So for instance, election petition, there's prescribed time.
Okay.
If you don't file your petition within that time, you can't be hard to complain. The law is there for you to know when you should do it. And of course, election is hybrid. Election petition is hybrid. For instance, you can't go in and start doing corrections.
Okay.
And the caller that talked about delay.
Yes.
Because so many factors contribute to that. So some of the states don't have enough judges.
Okay.
You see,
don't have enough.
Enough. You see one judge.
Is that in lack of people, of magistrates to make judges? What's the disconnect?
It is lack of lack of grease on the wheel of the system.
Lack of grease.
Because the system allows you to appoint a number of judges. For instance, the rule allows you to appoint a number of judges, for instance, 50, and you appoint 20 judges doing the work of 50 judges. How will the cases not be delayed? You go to court in November, you're given a date in March of the next year.
There are too many.
Because the judge cannot kill himself.
There are too many.
There are too many. One judge handling over 500 cases.
So are these part of the reforms that we are expecting to see?
These are part of what we should do. I really don't look at it from the standpoint of reform.
What do you call it?
Reform means that something new is coming. No, the law is already there. Let us implement the law.
Why do you think it's not being implemented? Why do you think we are having these delays in judgment?
The government lack the will to do that.
All right, my head is swimming in too many questions that I have to ask you, but you have to promise me, would you come back this week?
Oh, sure.
Would you come back this week?
I will.
Because the questions that I even wanted to ask you today, I can't even go into them because I don't have enough time because we really have to run. But I'm promising this on air. I want to talk to you about tax issues in Enugu. I want you to explain them to us so that we will understand. Because a majority of people here believe it's over taxation from the recent government. But I've spoken to people who try to make me understand why it is so and the benefits, and there's so much to discuss on it. So I would like that if you come back, I'd like to discuss taxes in Enugu and also the lawyer-tenancy relationship in Enugu. It is choking all of us. All right, would you come back?
I will.
Thank you very much, Mr. Onyekachi Ede. It was quite wonderful talking to you this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, and I hope that you learned a thing or two. He will be back hopefully by Friday to have these particular, I know you're itching to ask, but I got you. On Friday, we will have this conversation about taxes in Enugu and the lawyer-tenancy relationship in Enugu. We've dealt with the landlord-tenancy. Now we want to do lawyer-tenancy and see if we would learn a couple more things to add to what we already know. Thank you so much for being a part of this program. Reproach to a nation, it's a general thing. You can't keep blaming the head of the fish. You know, the positioning of the fish is also important. There are some of you who are in offices, in your marketplaces, at your business places, in school, you're cheating, you're cutting corners, you're taking the short way out, and you're doing things that are not right. And collectively, we have become these people that do not know their way forward. It seems we are drowning ourselves in the ocean of our own misfortune. We must be careful and act accordingly as a people. I'll see you again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. High Voltage. Please follow us on Facebook and, of course, join the channel on YouTube at High Voltage News. Like, subscribe, and share. And when you are out there today, please be good to yourself and to everyone else around you. Have a good morning.